I've been out here in the forest today tracking a bear. About a month ago the bear went through this brush and off into the forest there. But today he actually walked on the road and left these little compression tracks here. Notice the pressed in pine needles. That's the heel of the foot. There are the toes. There's another foot here underneath it. Here's another one. They're not very easy to see even on this road, but the compression area shows a difference in color from the surrounding soil. Now we come over here and see what happens when bears go off into tall grass. They can't avoid making lots of sign. He was after the log right there. But notice all the knocked over grass, knocked over in the direction the bear was traveling. Here's a track in here. Compressed soil, knocked over grasses, bent pine needles. So it went over there, dug into the log a little bit, and then exited by walking through the tall grass. I don't want to walk in there yet because I'd like to get some pictures of the sign. But notice the grasses bent over in the direction of travel. And the bear came out of the grass here and walked on down this old dirt road. Here's another track, compression area in the soil. One here. And he continued on down the road. Just a little bit of fun tracking a bear. Now I'm going to go in here and examine this log a little closer. Okay, we're looking a little more closely at the log that the black bear tore into. Getting at some grubs and other things that live inside of rotting logs. You can see where pieces of bark and wood have been torn off and scattered around. Over here you can see where the bear put its paw and knocked off pieces of bark because of the discolorations here. Right here, there's some dirt transfer. The bear's paw was wet and a little bit muddy when it stepped here. It left some dirt and knocked off bark there. Freshly scraped off bark here. Pieces are down below. And even some pieces down here on top of the green grasses that were pulled off this log. If you look closely at an undamaged log, you'll see there are holes where bark beetles and other insects go in here and lay eggs, and their grubs hatch. And the grubs continue to erode these logs by eating them, and bears love to eat those. So bears, early in the season, when there aren't any other food sources around, they'll tear into logs like this. And when he left this wonderful sign, grass laid down in the direction of travel. I'm going to go follow it and see what else I can find. I'm going to follow the trail of the bear that tore into that log over there. And without having walked down this road, I can see roughly where the bear traveled. Found a couple of tracks, one there and one there. But if you look ahead, you'll notice there's some grass knocked down here, right there, and right up there. So even without following it yet, you can see sign on this road. We call that flagging, where the grass is knocked down in the direction of travel. And it reflects the light differently so you can see it. So this is one way of trailing a bear. I'm going to follow it now and see what else this trail reveals. Still following the bear here. There's a nice track there for confirmation with some good toe marks. The heel mark there. There's another one over here. This gives confirmation. And once again, if you look ahead, you can see where the bear walked on the road. Notice there's some disturbance in the grass right over here. Looks like he crossed the road over there. So I'm going to follow it up there and see what I can find, what the bear's been doing. But meanwhile, here are some more tracks. Here's a nice one where it stepped directly on this plantain plant. Let's go see why it crossed the road. Right there. Here's a really nice example of a bear track. It's not a perfect one because it's on rough ground, but you can see right here where the weight of the bear broke this leaf, caused bruising, and also transferred dirt onto the surface of the leaf. We call this transfer. There's also a large wide area here where the heel of the foot contacted the ground, and this leaf up here shows some dirt transfer as well. I flip this leaf over. Notice how the sand grains are embedded into the leaf. And this knocked off piece of grass here, these two pieces of grass, came from further back and were carried forward on the foot. So that material was transferred with the step and dropped off here on its foot. So this is actually a black bear track here. Let's continue to follow this trail. Okay, we were over there, and the bear crossed the road and came down here, and then crossed the road again. Notice how the grasses have been laid down in the direction of travel as it walked across. Pretty fun tracking in spring, isn't it? This is what we call flagging. Pretty obvious sign. Let's go see where he went. I'm still following the same black bear. We started way up there up the road, about 50, 75 feet back. And the bear came into the grass and crossed across, but the interesting thing is that he doubled back. And I found the reason when I followed him through here. He left us some nice little tracks. Just compressions, really. Broken off blades of grass in there. And here, a sort of outline of his heel pad with some flattening. But the real prize, apparently he smelled from way back up there, was this deer jawbone. And there's no meat on it, and I guess that's what he found out when he got here, is that there's nothing edible here. So that's why he doubled back and went back across the road and back up. Let's go follow him and see what else he finds. We're still on the trail of the same black bear, who has now come through this brush, and out here, where it located another log. And you notice this log has been opened, but it used to rest right there. Notice how there's an area where it was sitting. Now you notice that the log is sitting on top of fresh green vegetation because the bear rolled it. And all these pieces of wood are showing lighter colored wood, which is the wood that was on the inside of the log. The outside is all darkened by the weathering. So the bear came down here and opened up another log. Again, a really good food source in spring because there are no berries or other easy food sources like that available this time of year. So they do a lot of digging up of nests of bees and wasps and opening up logs like this one. Here's another great bear compression track, and one of the cool things about these is you can sometimes pull away the vegetation and pine needles and see the beautiful track under the mud where the bear's foot left an imprint. Again, confirmation that you're on the right trail. Bear seems to have gone off the road again on another adventure.